I began my career in the US in 1967, and that was as a geologist working with the Apollo missions to the moon. At the time, we had to answer one very important question to NASA, and that was where to land on the moon. Selection of landing sites had to take two things into consideration. First, the landing sites had to be flat for the spacecraft to safely land, and the place had to be scientifically interesting so we can learn as much as possible about the history of the moon and its composition. In due time, I became secretary of the committee that selected landing sites on the moon, and I was the chairman of the Astronaut Training in Orbiter Observations and Photography. The astronauts had to be trained very well so that we can achieve the scientific objectives of the mission. And that particular aspect was one of the most fascinating parts of my career. When the Apollo program ended in 1972, we began to try to apply what we learned from the moon to the study of the Earth from space. This is when I began to look at the Earth's features in satellite images. And naturally, I emphasized deserts. And having come from Egypt, I emphasized the Arab deserts. My research proved that these lands between 5,000 and 11,000 years ago hosted much kinder climates, and there was a great deal of rain. There were rivers that ended into vast lakes. And the surface water at the time supported vegetation, humans, and animals. And some of that water must have seeped through the underlying rock to be stored as groundwater. And using this particular theory, my team has found new groundwater resources in countries like Egypt, Oman, and the UAE. The latest project we're working on at the Boston University Center for Remote Sensing deals with the region of northwestern Sudan called Darfur. Darfur is a place where there had been conflict because of the shortage of water. People fought for water, and these people belong to two different populations, sedentary farmers and nomads. And now if we find groundwater for all those who need it, we can ameliorate the problem. It is important to note that many of the groundwater resources are saline because the water goes through the rock and picks up salts. Therefore, innovation in desalination engineering would help a great deal in providing sweet water for human use. That's why we emphasize that desalination is an important industry for the future. Water is life, and we know that we will need more water as populations increase and the economies develop. There is no question in my mind that applying advanced science and technology would allow us to find more water for future use. That is the aim of my research.